Let's talk about the Big Six. Or are they the Big Six?
The Big Six.
Top six.
Top six teams.
Big six. Big six clubs.
Top six.
A question for you all. Are the Big Six still the Big Six?
Back to Elanga, back to Gibbs White, he finishes it. It's a perfect goal for Nottingham Forest.
A new era for Champions League football and a new era for Aston Villa.
The trademark top six. Arsenal, City, Man City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs. That's what they want. They don't want Newcastle breaking into it.
Down to Isaac, buoys a second goal. It's another goal for Newcastle United.
The idea is that Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester United, Chelsea and Man City are the ones that drive the image of the Premier League.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, this chat. You can have your say 03717223334. Speaking ahead of tonight's game against the mighty Man United, Nottingham Forest gaffer Nuno Espirito Santo said that clubs like Forest are putting an end to the era of the traditional Big Six. He said yesterday during a press conference, and I quote, "It's been changing. The gap no longer exists in such a predominant way. Us as clubs, besides the Big Six, have been able to improve and compete. It's a question of recruitment, and the competition itself makes players reach a higher level when they get to the Premier League. It's about the quality of the players, the manager, and the quality of the game as well." Now, as things currently stand, the top six, not the Big Six, the top six, has got Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, Chelsea, City, and Newcastle. First question to you: does the Big Six still exist? Now, the Big Six are, of course, I wrote it down, but we can remember
Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, and Liverpool.
Yes,
but
does that exist? And also, sorry about that. And also, why? If it does, why? And what is it? What's the reason? We heard Simon Jordan touch on the fact that they're the big earners for the Premier League, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you said about it there about the top six this season. You look at last season: Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa, Tottenham, Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? And then you go this. Even if you go the season before that, Man United, Arsenal, Manchester United, Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton. Like it feels like there are three teams. I know I've said they're Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. For the last couple of seasons, it's been those. But it seems like the team's forever for changing, because that 2022-23 season, Chelsea finished 12th. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham finished 8th. Villa and Brighton were above them. So I think the traditional Big Six, in terms of revenue, might be still the same. But if you're talking about performances on the pitch, I think it's changing. I think at the minute you've still got the big three in City, Liverpool and Arsenal, because they've been the ones challenging. But it almost feels like that fourth spot now is up for grabs, like badly, because again, you look at this season. I know obviously Forest are the anomaly this year. City are within touching distance, 1 point behind Chelsea, who currently sit fourth. Man United and Tottenham are way down in 13th and 14th, which is not good enough for them football clubs. Yeah, I think the Big Six is there to a point, but if you're talking about performances on the pitch, I generally think now it's becoming more and more like a free-for-all. Like if you said to me now, for next season, pick the top four, it'd be incredibly difficult. You're right. You'd always go City, Arsenal, Liverpool, but that fourth spot, all of a sudden, you're like, ooh, hold a second here. And that could be Man United, Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest, Villa. That's six going for one spot. Do you know what I mean? It's incredibly difficult. Do
you think it's not necessarily if you're an elitist or not, but like, you know, we're down to like the last four in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I know this is nuts. It's going to upset a lot of people. I prefer a bigger name to win the FA Cup.
You will say that.
I really do.
See, right? I'm not really. Unless it's, I mean, if it's Arsenal, I don't really care. But
like you know, it's gonna. Again, I'm sorry if I upset people. You know, Wigan won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, I just don't want to see Wigan's name on that.
Why?
That role of, I don't know.
Honestly, people are going to come for you, boy.
I know that, but I'm like that with all sports, right? So you know, I love snooker, right?
Yeah.
I love snooker, and I love the list of honours that goes like Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Williams, Stephen Hendry, John Higgins, and then will upset these people, but you see names like Peter Ebdon in it and Luca Purcell most recently.
Yeah, but the man earned it.
Graham Dutt. No, I know they did, but I like seeing all the big hitters always wins big time.
So basically, you're saying this year,
I like an elitist.
This FA Cup, you want Man City to win it?
I don't want them to.
We just said that.
But I just think because it's a special competition.
So you don't want Palace, you don't want Villa, and you don't want Forest.
I just think well, Forest are a little bit different because I grew up with them being a great side. So in my head, they're still.
See, out of all of them, I'd like Villa or Palace. I'd like to see win it. But no, I've got no issue with a small side as you put it.
But would you like the top four? So you mentioned we got how many? We got three of the big six in the top four. The only one that's not, in theory, is Forest.
Yeah.
Right. Would you like to see that? Would you mind if that swapped? So if the top four now was Newcastle, Forest, Villa, and Brighton, would you look at our Premier League and go,
No, I look at it and hate it because Arsenal are not in it.
okay, if Arsenal were fourth then, right?
Yeah, then I'd quite like it. I mean, I'd still be.
But why?
I'd still be annoyed because Arsenal not winning the league.
Yeah, forget your love of your football club for a minute.
No, but my point, if Arsenal can't win a competition, and like I would love to see teams like we spoke about it before, right? I would absolutely love to see teams like Forest. I know they've won it twice. Brighton, Fulham, Villa. Well, Villa in its bits, not Villa. Bournemouth, Brighton, Forest. If one of those teams or two of those teams competed in the Champions League, I'd love to see that. I don't think you get it, but you're talking about fixtures you probably would never see, like Brighton versus Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? Or Bournemouth versus Juventus.
Yeah, I'd rather see Man City v Real Madrid.
Oh no, see, I wouldn't.
You would, Bennett. You would.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
If Man United versus Real Madrid's on, yeah, or Bournemouth versus Barca,
yeah,
I'm watching Bournemouth Barca.
You're not.
I am.
Absolute lie.
I'm telling you now, I am.
You're not. You're not, Benji.
I'm telling you now, 100% I am, because there's so much. I've seen Manchester United versus Real Madrid a million times. I'm not seeing Bournemouth Barca. And sure, I want to see it at the Vitality.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
That'd
Good luck getting those 12,000 tickets.
Honestly,
so do you think it is changing? And do you think if it does change, it's better for not just football fans but the broadcasters, right? The broadcasters are going to favour the so-called Big Six because they bring in the viewership, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I like that it's changing, and I think for
is it changing?
Yeah, I think for sport in the Premier League, I think it's changing because I used to think the top four, top six, it just felt like you were picking those teams, and those teams are the only teams that are going to win it. Like like there was a time where the top four was always.
Yeah, but you're still
Arsenal,
getting it now.
Arsenal, Chelsea.
You're still getting it now.
Well, you're not.
No, but apart from Leicester,
yeah,
right, which is an anomaly.
I know Man City.
You're still getting the big teams winning it.
But you're saying here you got Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, Chelsea.
Yeah,
that's the top four now,
yeah.
right? Right. Last season, you had City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa. So that's another different one. The year before that...
No, but find me a year, apart from Leicester, find me a year where a Big Six didn't win it.
No, but I get
Never?
that. No, but the Big Six are going to win it. But I like the fact that it's more competitive, and I think it's more competitive because
I don't know if it is.
The middle bracket of team, like the middle bracket of team, are getting better. That's what it is. The likes of Brighton, Fulham, Villa, I wouldn't put their up. They're top side. Bournemouth, even Brentford on their day, Palace. These kind of where we perceive as like the middle clubs, they're getting better. So it's not as easy to take points off these guys.
But do you think the Big Six, exists?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
In any walk of life?
Well, the last two, you had Villa finishing there, and you've had Newcastle finishing there recently.
So there's no. So in your world, the Big Six.
So it was not six. It might be a big 4 or 3, but it's not 6.
Are Man United part of the Big Six?
In revenue stream, yeah. But if you look at
just overall, if someone from Miles come down and went, can you just write on there?
If you looked at Man United this year, and you're third.
I know, but I'm just talking about in your head.
Yeah, Man United.
That's the question,
yes,
right? When we talk about the Big Six,
they are.
So Man United are part of it.
They're juggernauts. Yeah, they're one of the biggest sides, if not the biggest in the world.
Who? And you've said it's only a Big Four now.
Well, I know. So my thing is more performances on the pitch. But if you're just looking from everything, right? Then it's Man United, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. And probably Tottenham.
So it does exist.
No, but I'm not looking at it based on just revenue. I'm looking at how competitive you've been for the last 4 or 5 years. And right now, it's changing. The goalposts are now changing.
Okay. Do you want it to change? I don't.
I quite like it. No, do you know what? I love it this year.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like us to be top, but the fact I'm seeing certain teams in 13th, I love that. Absolutely love that.
Let me have a look who that is. Oh, yeah.
I mean, and even below you got teams like West Ham.
Spurs below us.
Yeah, but West Ham is 16th. That's
insane.
That tells you it's changing. They should never be there.
Well, you say that.
Man, they won the European Cup a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I know. Well,
okay, a version of it.
Yeah, the Conference League.
Yeah, and they were regularly finishing 7th, 8th up there.
Okay, I think it'll be an interesting one. The Big Six.
You're such an elitist.
I am an elitist.
So you don't want to see Bournemouth in the Champions League?
No.
Brighton?
No, we've got a connection with the club, haven't we?
I love Brighton.
Don't want to see Brighton in the Champions League. No.
Oh, honestly.
No, I know. You're making me say it.
I love Brighton as well.
I'm going to get in trouble for this.
If you invite us to the club again, I'll come. The drive team will come. We'll leave Andy behind.
So you don't care?
No, as long as Arsenal's in it, I couldn't care who the other teams are.
You don't?
But I would love to see, and Wednesday night football, Bournemouth. I don't know if I keep using Bournemouth. I'm going to
use Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Why don't we go Brentford? Let's use Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford versus Real Madrid.
Why would you want to see that?
At the G-Tech.
Okay, but when there's an FA Cup match on, and it's Man United v Tamworth, you don't watch that.
I do watch that.
No, you don't.
Okay,
if it was Man United Tamworth, and on the other side was Man City, Chelsea,
I'm watching Man United Tamworth.
You're not.
I am.
That's absolute
No,
nonsense.
because there's jeopardy on that.
Of course you're not.
I am.
There's no jeopardy on it.
Yes.
We might nick a draw.
Yeah.
Let's take calls on it, shall we? 03717223344. Are you like Benty or are you an elitist?
Or you're a snob, like Andy.
Don't all be this up.
Yeah.
Can someone get me some caviar?
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.